financial statement analysis that we're going to look at your individual project part 2. I'm assuming you've already created your Google Sheet. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we'll go ahead and start from there on to the next phase. So coming right over here for part 2 of the individual project, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking this Google Sheet that we went through and created and basically looking up the financial statements for these publicly traded companies. So the first thing that we're going to have to kind of go through and do is let's go ahead and open up a brand new tab. Now, our lives have been made a little bit more complicated, mainly because the Securities and Exchange Commission is no longer providing us links to Microsoft Excel files, but we've got a great solution, and I'm going to go with this over here with you right now. So we're going to go to SEC.gov, and I'm going to start over here with Dollar General. So I'm going to go ahead and put in DG. If you're a member of Delta Gamma sorority, actually you've probably been around longer than Dollar General, but that's all good. So we're going to look for the form 10K. Now this is dumping me on all filings. I can go ahead and turn on the Investor Toolkit. And what this is going to enable me to do is I can look at all of the 10Ks and 10Qs. If you're not understanding what a 10K and 10Q is, I do have in the files, in the documents, what these forms are. A 10K is an annual report. It's also a marathon, which I clearly need to be running more of. But there's also the 10Q, which is the quarterly report. And this will come into play as we go throughout the semester. So right over here, in terms of our 10K, which is what we're interested in for this part over here, I'm going to go ahead and open up the filing. So I'm going to say when I hit on filing, I'm going to go here and click on that. Just don't click on the document itself. Don't click on this, but click on filing. I'm then going to go over here to interactive detail. So I'm going to click on interactive data. And then over here on the left-hand side, I'm going to go over here to financial statements. There are 2 that I'm concerned with right now. It's the consolidated balance sheet and the consolidated statement of income. When I click on the consolidated balance sheet, I'm simply going to come over here and do a massive copy and paste. And I'm going to come over here to my Google Sheet. Okay, now, one of the things I've gone through and I have done is that I have labeled these at the bottom. How did I do this? When I click on this twice, DGES, so it's not right now, it's balance sheet, DGIS, DLTR-BS, DLTR-IS. I'm going to simply copy it, Control copy. I'm going to go ahead and paste it. This looks terrible. Like, what's going on? Let's go ahead and copy here. That looks terrible. Let's go back over here and take a look to see if we can figure out what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. A copy. And let's see what I'm doing wrong. Let's go ahead and paste special values. And that didn't work right. Give me a second. Okay, so I somehow got this to work. Let's try to see if I can do this again. So, oops, I did it again. So here we go. Let's just go ahead and try copying it from the bottom. Let's go ahead and hit that Control copy. And let's see if we got the magic to work again. So again, just kind of play around with it now. One of the issues that I have here is that I'm not done because I need to have the other fiscal year end right over here because I need 3 years of balance sheets. Well, let's go ahead and go to our income statement for Dollar Tree, and maybe we can see if this can kind of help us. So we're going to go over here to consolidated statements of income. Okay, so when I come over here, I'm going to kind of do the same thing. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. And for Dollar General income statement, let's see if the magic works. Oh my goodness, it worked. How exciting is that? Wow. So I've got 3 years of financial statements. Now, what I need to figure out for Dollar General is I need to figure out, well, I need to get this particular financial statement on February 3rd, 2023. So what I'm going to do over here is I'm gonna go to, again, I'm at Dollar General. I'm gonna go down here to the prior 10K. I'm gonna click on filing. When I come over here, I'm gonna go click on interactive data. When I do this, I'm gonna go to financial statements. I'm gonna go to consolidated balance sheets. And here's the magic. This is what I'm going through, and this is the droid that I'm looking for. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna copy this. And I'm gonna go ahead and paste it right into here. Now, why did I go through and do this? Well, sometimes what you're going to find is you want to make sure that everything matches up. What does that mean? Well, that these numbers are being reported similarly, right? So as you can kind of see, these numbers are kind of all of the same. And the reason why is sometimes companies will go through and reclassify things. So we don't have to really worry about that right now. But I do have the magic that I'm looking for, which is February 3rd of 2023. I'm going to go ahead and put this like right over here. And that's going to basically get me what I'm looking for. So I've got 3 years of balance sheet for Dollar General. I'm going to go ahead and label this Dollar General balance sheets. And then I'm going to over here, this is going to be my Dollar General income statements. Okay, so I've got those two figured out. Now let's go over here to Dollar Tree. So I'm going to go over here to Dollar Tree and go back to SEC.gov. And we're going to go ahead and do search filings. So what I'm going to do here, search filings, and have Dollar Tree DLTR, very exciting. I'm going to go over here. My Investor Toolkit is on. I'm going to go to my most recent 10K. And I screwed up already. Okay, I need to click on filing. And when I click on filing, I want to click on interactive data. I'm going to come over here to financial statements. Remember, they got rid of the Excel, so we're finding a way to get around it. I'm going to first go to consolidated balance sheets. Okay, so right over here, I'm going to go ahead and click on this for Dollar Tree. And I'm going to go over here to Dollar Tree balance sheets. Let's see if we got a winner. Oh, winner, winner, chicken dinner. There we go. Okay, so these are my Dollar Tree balance sheets. See me at Dollar Tree. And now what I'm going to go over here and do is do the same thing, but I need to go over to the consolidated income statements. And wow, that looks really crazy. Okay. Oh, let's see what I can do here. Well, what I want are the 12 months ended for all of these amounts here. This may actually come in to be helpful for me later, but let's go ahead and copy it and see what happens. Why not? Okay. Go ahead and copy this. We'll see what happens. Dollar Tree income statements, and boy, oh boy, do we have a winner there. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay, magically, I was somehow able to get this to work. Let me see if I can repeat myself. Okay, so coming over here, what I did was I started at this corner and I copied upwards. Hit copy, and then I went over here to this. And boy, oh boy, I was able to repeat myself. Wow, how nice was that? Okay, so the one thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I want to get rid of all of these 3 months ended. I'm not really concerned with that as of right now. Go ahead and delete these columns. And so now I'm left with my 3 years of financial statements, basically for Dollar Tree. Okay, delete this, put over here, Dollar Tree income statements. Okay, so I've got these two parts right over here. So yeah, let's go ahead and take a look now. So got these over here for Dollar Tree. And now what I'm ready to kind of go through and do is to get the extra financial statement here for Dollar Tree. Now I know this has to be January 28th, 2023. How do I know it has to be that? Well, if I'm preparing an income statement for the fiscal year ended January 28th, well, that means that I had to also prepare a balance sheet as of that date. Now, one of the other things too is that, well, why are we going through and why does this company use January 28th? Most retailers will basically have their fiscal year end not on December 31st, but rather on January 31st or like whenever that period ends. Like, but basically, it's usually like on a payroll cycle week. So they don't have to worry about going through and doing various different rules. So we've got this over here. So now I got to find another balance sheet for Dollar Tree. Let's go to it. So we're going to go back over here to our Investor Toolkit, right? And we're going to find over here it's on. I'm going to go over here to the 10K. I'm going to click on filing and then I'm going to click on interactive data. Okay, I'm going to click on financial statements and I'm going to go to consolidated balance sheets. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. That was the droid I was looking for as of January 28, 2023. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. And I'm going to basically bring it over here. And again, the reason why I'm doing this, right, is I'm kind of looking for. Okay, interesting. So what happened here is that you have over here the Dollar Tree had discontinued operations. So when Dollar Tree has discontinued operations, they have to go through and show, they have to represent out, look, do you notice over here, the total numbers are balancing, right? The total numbers here are balancing. However, what is going to be going through and being different is that obviously they're, it's basically being a representation. So what we need to do is to try to find this January 28th, 2023 number that has the effect of the discontinued operations. So for this, we're going to have to go through and do a little bit of detective work by seeing if we can find out by looking through some of their prior quarterly reports. So let's go ahead and get to it. So right over here, let's go ahead and take a look. Okay, so we know that there was discontinued operations as of here, and we've got our annual report here as over here. Now remember, when you look at quarterly reports, one of the things that they're going to go through and do for us is that they're going to show, we should be seeing we have a balance sheet. We should be looking at this as basically as 1/28/23, or basically over here as of see, we have this in the prior period. Hold on. So 1/3, and let's find out when did they do the discontinued operation. Okay, so they didn't have any discontinued operations as of yet. Okay, so then this must have been when they decided to go through and do the discontinued operation. Okay, so if we're on a 10K, that's why I usually like doing the quarterlies for when I teach. But if I go to item 8, I go through and see over here, basically the discontinued cash flows, right? Or discontinued operations. So one of the things I want to try to go through and see if I can find is that, can I find this restatement for 2023? So let's go through and check that out. I'm going to go ahead and pause you guys again. I wasn't able to find immediately the effect of the discontinued operations. What I'm going to go ahead and do instead is I'm just going to leave this up here as it is, because this obviously is going to be kind of fascinating to go through and explore. But what I do want to do is to make this at least somewhat comparable, is to go through and make sure that all of these parts are going through and kind of adding up. So I've got over here, this is current assets of discontinued operations. So what I'm gonna go ahead and do is I'm gonna drop this down a little bit over here so everything lines up. So that my total current assets are gonna be right over here. Property, plant, and equipment, restricted cash, operating release right of use provisions, goodwill, deferred income taxes. So over here, we've got a little bit of a difference here. And we've got total assets. So there's not going to be a direct. We're going to have to probably like add some lines in here to basically make these flesh out. So let's go ahead and do, so the goodwill matches, but then we have this deferred income taxes net. Let's go ahead and put this down a little bit, give us some breathing room. Okay, so we've got goodwill, trade names. So let's see, total current assets, PP&E, restricted cash, operating lease, right of use assets, goodwill, trade name, and intangible assets, deferred tax assets, other assets, and then we're going to have to move this down. So we're going to have over here, basically total assets. Again, these two numbers here equal up. They've been restated because of the effect of discontinued operations. So we have current portion of long-term debt. This actually says current portion of operating lease. So we're going to move this one down. Got the accounts payable. Income taxes payable, other current liabilities. Okay, we're gonna have to move this one down over here too, because we're gonna have our current liabilities of discontinued operations. We've got long-term debt net, operating lease liabilities, deferred income taxes payable, other liabilities. One other thing we don't have is the non-current liabilities of discontinued operations. Total liabilities, commitments, and contingencies, shareholders' equity, common stock, APIC, accumulated. So now this looks a little bit better. So again, as we're going through and doing this, right, numbers sometimes may not exactly match up, but when we have discontinued operations, it's going to actually be pretty awesome. As you can kind of go through and see over here, when you have discontinued operations, you have to go through and show this separate. Because once you choose to basically, once the board makes the decision to have something as a discontinued operation, you have to show it below continuing operations net of tax, because there's an inherent assumption when we go through and prepare income statements that we're basically showing over here is that those income statements are from our continuing operations. There we go. Wow, I had no idea this was going to be this fascinating. That's what's fun about this job. Okay, so in any event, we've gone through and done this. Hopefully you found this to be helpful. I know I did. It's always exciting. I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Have a great rest of your day.